Martin, thanks so much for taking the time to sit down with me today. We're here at ASTA's show in Chicago. And first, I guess let's talk about who you are and what you're doing. If you want to tell me a little bit about yourself.
Sure, thanks for the opportunity to sit with you and talk. So I'm Martin Horrocks. I lead BASF's seed treatment business, which we formed back at the start of this year. And so I lead that group for North America, and it's really a combination of the legacy assets that BASF had in seed treatment and the new assets that were brought over from Bayer back in August of 2018. So I've been leading that group now for nearly a year. So
that's one of the things I wanted to talk with you about today is that integration from Bayer over into BASF, and where we are in that transition. Obviously it's complete, but from an internal standpoint, what's been your management approach, and how much longer do you have to go until you feel like you're finally there?
That's a great question. I've got to say it's been a fun year, a pretty action-packed year. So we all came together as one business in August of 2018. And I would say my group is a real blend of Bayer, legacy Bayer folks who came over, and BASF folks. And really, we've worked really hard on day one to focus on our customers, because there's a real trap, I think, when you create a new business that you're so busy looking inward, you forget about what's really important. So we've really tried to focus on that. And I think we've done a very good job of that. And we've had that feedback from our customers. And that's really been my culture, it's about the customer first. So that's been the primary focus. I would say, like any team coming together, there's a bit of a honeymoon period, and then you learn about each other and learn to work together. And we've worked hard on team dynamics, team culture. I'd say we're very fortunate. We have a real breadth of experience in the team, and we've also got some folks who are newer to seed treatment, which I think makes for a recipe for success. So we're really excited about what year two will bring for the new business. So.
That is exciting. So let's talk a little bit about your vision and what year two could bring.
Yeah, so I think now we've had a year really getting our arms around what our portfolio is. We've really tried to talk about, and we're really talking about it this week, about powering potential for our customers. And so we're trying to think more about what can we bring to our customers to help create new markets, create value, and solve the problems that they're trying to solve in their business. So just to give you a quick summary, we've kind of centered some of our thinking around 4 areas. One of those is really seed-applied corn insecticides. We've been a leader in that area for a number of years and have some exciting innovations still coming down that pipeline. We're also a leader in the sudden death syndrome, soybean cyst nematode control market in soybeans. And we're continuing to look at that market and help our customers really grow that market. There's a lot of untapped potential there. We have some new exciting innovation around wireworm control in cereals. And so we're really focusing on helping wheat growers tackle what has become a really big problem for them. And so there's just 3 areas. And the 4th one maybe to add would be inoculants. We've been very strong in inoculants for a number of years. And we're really looking at that segment saying it's time to re-energize and re-talk about technology and what that can do for soybean and pulse growers. And so we're really trying to look outwards rather than just focus on our own inward activities. And I would say innovation is really what's keeping us occupied right now and bringing some of these new solutions. So.
Fantastic. Well, as you're looking outward, and we're in the seed treatment space, and you're looking to solve customers' problems, but we also have increased scrutiny from kind of the general public as well as regulatory officials. What's your perspective of the landscape today? And where we might be 5 years from?
Yeah, I think that's a really, really great question. And it's one that we think about every day at BASF, because stewardship really is our license to operate, right? And without that, we don't have a business. And so I would say there's a number of things we're very proud of. First of all, I would say about BASF, we're centered very much on data. And so the things we bring to market, we stand behind the claims, and the products really do what we say they do. So we're very proud of that. I would say from a stewardship standpoint too, I look at our portfolio, and we have a very broad portfolio, and there are elements of that portfolio which support the stewardship of some of our active ingredients. A good example would be we're a leader in the neonic insecticide space, but we're also a leader in the coatings and polymers space. And those technologies really rely on polymers to protect them and avoid, abrasion and dust that can cause problems for pollinators and the like. And so we really bring both of those technologies to support the stewardship of our products. And then the other thing, BASF does some ancillary activities. For example, we're a member of the Neonic Consortium. We have a program called Living Acres, where we're working with agriculture to help create habitats for the monarch butterfly. And so really we're very active across a range of different areas to support stewardship. It's really important. Without that, again, we don't have a license to operate.
And is that a global program or something that's focused here in North America or the US?
Yep. So that, I mean, I'm giving you a couple of examples from North America. There are other activities going on around the world, you know, similar types of activities where we're a member of different consortia and industry groups. Mm-hmm. And it really comes from the top of BASF. It's a mantra within the company that we take very seriously. You know, our role in bringing chemistry, not just to ag, but different industries. And so it really is something that I think is really built into the BASF DNA. So.
And do you think we're moving the needle there? Do you think with the pollinator plantings and some of these things that, you know, across the board, there's been a big push to increase the habitats for pollinators? You know, are we moving the needle in terms of bringing them back from the brink of, you know,
Yep.
That component, but as well as you're not hearing as much about the neonics right now.
Yeah, I think, look, I mean, I think it's an ongoing thing.
Yeah.
You can never rest and say we've done enough. And so I think that there's many things. One would be technology has to keep evolving. Two, another part I think is we have to play a role in educating people, perhaps who are not in ag, mm-hmm. And helping them understand the benefit of our technologies and what they do and why when they're used correctly, they're very safe. Mm-hmm. And why companies like ourselves and others do a lot of work to educate our customers on using those products responsibly. Mm-hmm. So I think to answer your question, it's never enough, and we don't wake up and say, well, I think we can rest. It's really an ongoing topic. I can think in our business, once a month we come together, we have a stewardship committee mm-hmm. within the seed treatment group, and we bring all the stakeholders together from regulatory, from marketing, sales, and we discuss topics and talk about what else should we be working on to support our customers and the safety of our products. So it's something that will never stop. So
yeah, you can never rest.
Never rest.
Yeah. But when we look at seed treatments, and you know the trend has been to put more on the seed and to try to do as much as you can in terms of yield and protecting with as little as you can in terms of being very targeted and specific. Do you feel like are we starting to see kind of a rollback of that right now, or are we still seeing like the need to pile more on the seed?
So again, I think that's a great question. First of all, I think our customers and growers have a thirst for innovation. There's no question about it. They're always looking for new things. And I think the industry continues to bring solutions and the market demands that. I think it's interesting, it's not just active ingredient innovation, formulations play a big role. And so we have a really full team, a formulation team based down in North Carolina who spend all of their time thinking about how to deliver these unique active ingredients on the seed at as low use rates and in formulations that are as easy to handle as possible. So you've actually got to innovate on two sides. You've got to create these active ingredients to solve problems, kill pests, manage disease, but you have to find ways to keep on getting those on the seed in the most efficient way possible. And again, I'm very proud that we attack that problem from both sides. It's both a research and a development topic. But again, I think the market will continue to demand innovation. It will never stop. Growers in North America really have a thirst for new solutions, more yield, more return on their investment. And I think that's great for us because it allows us to keep on bringing them new things.
So three kind of areas that I think we need to hit here is, with seed treatments is, and you've mentioned the push for innovation, but the addition of biologicals to seed treatments, the addition of nutritionals to seed treatments, and then how it all comes together to improve soil health. What's BASF doing there?
So biologicals is a very important part of our portfolio, and I think we see biologicals and then traditional chemistry as going hand in hand. It's interesting, I would say, we have a legacy in that area in a number of places. I mean, years ago we acquired Becker Underwood, and that brought in a lot of biological capability. When we brought in the Bayer seed treatment assets, you look at the legacy of the Poncho family, a number of years ago, the Bayer at the time, and now it sits under our house, launched Poncho Vativo. That was a leading biological that complemented the clothianidin insecticide molecule and brought a number of benefits in terms of biological activity. And then just recently we launched Poncho Vativo 2.0, which actually has a second biological component. And that really tackles soil health and works on improving, the soil and bringing additional benefits. So we actually look when we're designing products to say, how can chemistry and biology or biologicals fit together? The beauty is we have a nice portfolio and a nice heritage in that with the acquisition of all of those assets. It's really boosted our ability to bring some of these things to market. I look at other areas, even in our inoculant area, we sell Volt HP, a market-leading inoculant, and it's actually partnered with a EPA-registered biofungicide. Mm-hmm. So we're constantly saying, how do these two things come together to bring more than just the benefit of one alone? Yeah. And I actually think as you look forward, biologicals are going to have an even bigger role. The ability to bring those products to market from a time standpoint and a cost standpoint is less than traditional chemistry. And so there's a place for both in our industry, and we're very excited about what we've got, in that space. So.
Sure. And you are a chemist by training, is that correct?
So I'd say I was a chemical engineer. I think I forgot more than I know about chemical engineering, but that's how I started. Mm-hmm. I came over from the UK. I'm from the UK originally, as I'm sure you can tell, back in 2002. And I worked in a range of different chemical industries, not just ag. Mm-hmm. I came into ag about 10 years ago with BASF. And
I made a note that you had been with Procter & Gamble,
yep.
and Milliken.
And I was with a company called Reichhold as well, who were in the coatings industry. So I've kind of found my way to BASF. And during my time at BASF, I've worked in different marketing roles, worked in our crop protection business. And now I'm leading the seed treatment business, which is just a tremendously exciting opportunity for me and for the company. So,
what has surprised you the most over the course of the last year or so?
So, there's a few things. I think I came into seed treatments really deeply about a year ago. Mm-hmm. Prior to that, I'd been involved, but more on the crop protection side, and now I'm really deep in seed treatments. What fascinates me is the complexity of seed treatments. It really is a very complex area. There are so many products that go on the seed and so many ways to tackle problems. So that surprised me. I mean, I had no idea until I really got into seed treatment just how complex and rich an industry it is. I would say that. And then the other thing I would say, I look at this year and it's in ag in North America, it's been one for the ages. I mean, just such a difficult year for farmers. And maybe I shouldn't be surprised, but I think the resilience of growers in North America is just unbelievable. The things they're having to face. You look at tariffs, you look at commodity price pressure, you look at the weather, and yet they keep coming back for more. It really always just astounds me just how resilient a group of folks they are, and it's quite inspiring to be part of an industry like that. So
what would you say to those? That's one of the topics here at the conference has been talent and talent management, and how do we bring people from outside in, whether it's young professionals coming out of college or bringing in skills and expertise from other industries to benefit what we're doing here. So what would be your advice to those who might not be familiar with the seed industry or seed treatments and agriculture in general, for your perspective?
Yeah, so I'm one of the folks who came from the outside, and there's a few other folks like that at BASF who I'm colleagues with, and I think the advice I'd give someone coming from the outside is it can seem quite intimidating at first because a lot of folks in ag grew up on a farm and they've got very rich family heritages in ag. But I'd say the industry is very welcoming to people. And you know what? Farmers are businessmen, businesswomen, and they think about return on investment. They think about maximizing the return on the things they do. That's not different to many other businesses. And so you can come into ag and have a very successful career. The same rules in business apply in ag. And so, it takes you a little while to learn all the technology because there's a lot of it. But I would encourage anybody to come into the ag industry. It's just such a rich place to learn and to make kind of lifelong acquaintances and friends as well. So, I would strongly encourage it. It's done well for me. So hopefully I'm an advertisement for that. So.
Kind of flipping gears, or what keeps you awake at night? What are you most concerned about right now?
Obviously we talked about the freedom to operate, the stewardship, so important. So I do spend a lot of time thinking about that and worrying about that. I think too, I worry about, our customers. It has been such a long, tough downturn. I worry about that, and I worry about at some point, do people say, well, I'm not going to invest? I haven't seen that, and I hope that doesn't happen, but I worry about that because it can be a natural reaction at some point that I'm going to back away from investing because I feel that's a short-term measure. So that keeps me up. And then, we're launching a lot of new products, which is very exciting. But a lot of things have to go right to launch those products. And that keeps me up at night, making sure that finally when we get our registrations and a customer places an order, we're ready to roll and get that person the product they need on time, right time, first quality. And that's a big deal. Launching new products is not easy, and we're launching a lot of them. So that really keeps me up at night. So
sure. But in talking through, the product launches and some of the partnerships and bringing in new people, what makes a good teammate or a good partner in terms of the characteristics that you would be looking for?
So I would say that the number one thing I've learned in my career, and this is something I probably learned later on, is diversity in a team is the most important thing. When you get a team and you don't have that diversity of thought, people, backgrounds, that makes for a weaker team. I've found when you build a team and there's many different ways of looking at things, you come out of that so much better. So I'm very proud again at BASF, we have a really diverse team. We've built a very diverse team. And that leads to some pretty heated exchanges and some good arguments, but I actually think that makes for good decisions. So I would say diversity is probably the first thing. And I think you asked what's good in a teammate. At the end of the day, we all have to roll up our sleeves sometime and do things we might not want to do the dirty work sometimes. We've all got to be willing to do all of that and play a hand. And I think you want people who are versatile, who are willing to roll up the sleeves, do the dirty work. They're also willing to talk strategy. We need people who will do all of those things and be willing, to flex depending on what's going on. So.
So the holidays are coming up. We're rounding out 2019, headed into 2020. Are you taking any time to kind of re-energize after the past year?
So that's the plan. It's always the plan, but we're not over the finishing line yet. So we've got a little work to do to finish out the year. I'm feeling pretty good. We'll get there. And so until that's done, I can't really rest. But once that's done, sometimes, we've gone overseas, but this year I just want to spend time at home with the family. I get to travel a lot with BASF, which is a good thing, but at the holidays it's nice not to travel and, relax and be with my 3 young children and my wife and be at home. So I'm really excited about that. Recharge the batteries and come back again in January, fighting and raring to go once more. So.
Very good. Well, Martin, thanks so much for sitting down with me, and we wish you the best at the show and that you get to spend the holidays with your family.
Yeah, really appreciate the time. Thank you. Thanks.